Verse 270. What is established by a proposition is a proposition. Suchness is the essence of mind. When this is clearly perceived, the yogin attains the knowledge of mind only. Proposition is a proposition. When we say something about something, we believe we are saying something about something. So, for example, the Buddhist might say that all things are impermanent. All things are impermanent. That's a proposition. And if you're a Buddhist, well, you have to do something with this. You have to think about it and apply it. Maybe it will help you reduce your cravings. If you realize that everything's impermanent, what's the point of hankering after anything? This is how you're supposed to do it. I've never found it worked. I've never found the argument that everything's impermanent enough to reduce my cravings. Temporary gratification will do, thank you. So anyway, the point here is that if you're interested in working on your mind, working on your feelings, and this is a good thing to do, we need to work on our moods and so on. But there needs to be a basis for this. And the basis is one of insight. Insight for yourself into how things really are. This is what I would refer to as the enlightenment event. The enlightenment event in your life. And that enlightenment event can happen to anybody. In fact, I've noticed that most of the books written by modern teachers into this kind of wisdom were written by people from all sorts of backgrounds. They might have been alcoholics, junkies, criminals, and then they have this insight. They might even have been very depressed at one point, and then suddenly there's a transformation. Perhaps whatever limiting forces in their life have suddenly worked themselves out or given up the ghost, or the person's just decided not to go along with them anymore. Whatever the reason, the enlightenment event has not happened because of so-called spiritual practices. Perhaps an enlightenment event can happen as a result of these, although I tend to think such practices can get in the way. So this is what I feel this verse is about. Life is suffering. This is how the first of the Buddha's noble truths is often understood. And with that, there's a whole colouring of attitude, of mentality. There are implications in how we're supposed to live our lives and so on. But what this verse is saying is, that is just a proposition. It is nothing more than that. There's nothing more than that. We have to move beyond propositions and return to the enlightenment event. Return to enlightenment, not the actual event, because that happened in the past. We return to enlightenment, what is described here as the knowledge of mind only. Mind with a capital M. We return to suchness. Suchness is the essence of mind. The mind with a small m being what formulates propositions. So we're not interested in the results of the mind. the propositions, our thoughts, our beliefs and everything else. We're interested in the space wherein these propositions arise, where the space wherein thoughts arise. So we're not interested in statements, even if they're so-called statements of truth, because they are nothing to do with suchness. Suchness is that vantage point where we can observe what's going on, where we step back into that awareness which is aware of what is going on. And in this way we attain the knowledge of mind only.